Good evening and welcome to Sunset News on this Thursday evening. As always, we bring you news, community stories, economics, weather and sports. I am Aina Koyo. In the news tonight, Namibia is yet to begin work to investigate the root causes of prostitution as stipulated by a resolution of the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discriminations Against Women. The Ministry of Gender Equality Executive Director Martha Mbobo said this at the workshop on strategic planning and future functioning of the Joint Women's Parliamentary Caucus hosted this afternoon. She also said they are in the process of reaching out to various government and ministries and agencies and other stakeholders to work out a roadmap which would guide government to address prostitution. We have over a period of 4 years to do this. We haven't started yet. We must still have a stakeholders like the Ministry of Trade because we are looking at income generating activities for women and girls who would like to exit prostitution as a means of income, she said. She added that some of the recommendations under this convention, such as the rights of the LGBTQI community, must be interrogated to see if they are appropriate for the nation. Now moving on to our next story. At the backdrop of learners taught under trees in dilapidated classroom with barely any access to textbooks, the Popular Democratic Movement has called on an investigatory audit into the affairs of how the Education Minister is spending its budget. Education Minister Anangi Pondoka recently told Parliament that about 80% of the Education Ministry's budget is spent on wages, and with an increasing learner population, more teachers must be recruited. The ministry has been allocated a budget of more than 16.7 billion Namibian dollars, which constitutes of about 22.5% of the national budget. PDM Treasurer Nico Smith yesterday called on Parliament to appoint an audit team comprised of the Auditor General Festus Mbadeka and 2 or 3 retired judges to interrogate the portion of the budget spent on infrastructure and textbooks last year. This audit's findings should then be presented to the Public Accounts Committee of Parliament. He further stressed that Namibian taxpayers want value for their money, and they want to see how it improves the lives of their children. Moving over to our next story. The First Lady of Namibia, May Monica Gengos, yesterday stated that cervical cancer and its vast effects are personal to her because the highest cervical cancer mortality rates are in Africa. If we can provide quality access to vaccination and high quality screening and treatment, then we are able to eliminate what we know to be a preventable and treatable cancer, she said. The First Lady was speaking at the Cancer Association of Namibia Cervical Cancer Workshop. Elizabeth Joseph was there.
It's really difficult not to take it personally when we hear that 9 out of 10 women who die of cervical cancer live in low to middle income countries. It is personal because we know that the world's highest cervical cancer mortality rates are in Africa. The life of a woman living in Nkulu has the same intrinsic value as the life of a woman living in New York. And when we are able to improve access to vaccination, high quality screening and treatment, then we're able to eliminate what we know to be a preventable and treatable cancer if it's identified early. This is not only personal for me, it's also personal for my sisters in the Organization of African First Ladies, who've agreed that in July this year, African First Ladies will launch a continent-wide campaign focusing on closing the gender gap, with one of the focus areas being the elimination of cervical cancer. We need every single stakeholder to hold hands and bring whatever they have to the table.
A South African rapist and murderer who escaped prison was returned to the country in the early hours of this morning following the arrest last week in Tanzania. Thabo Bester fled from jail last May by faking his own death in a fire and planting a corpse in his cell. He was arrested with his girlfriend, celebrity Dr. Nandipa Magudumana. The pair arrived aboard a chartered plane at an airport on the outskirts of the commercial hub, Johannesburg. They will be placed under heavy police guard, and arrangements are underway for Bester to return to a high-security prison to serve a life sentence for murder plus preparation for a court appearance on fresh charges with his girlfriend for his brazen prison break. Magudumana will appear in court in Bloemfontein on multiple charges, including the violation of bodies. Bester is known as the Facebook rapist for using the social networking site to lure his victims. He was convicted in 2012 for the rape and murder of his model girlfriend Nomfundo Taihulu. A year earlier, he was found guilty of raping and robbing two other women. Those have been our top stories. After the break, we return with Community Talk. Sebastian Greek, a pediatrician and one of the organizers of the Irongo Maternity and Newborn Health Symposium, explained why they hosted the symposium and what they hope to come from it. Let's have a look.
Good evening, I'm Dr. Sebastian Gierke. I'm a pediatrician that works here in the Irongo region, specifically in Swakopmund. I work in private practice mainly at the moment. So about 3 years ago we started the Irongo Maternity and Newborn Health Symposium that first of all aims to give feedback. We look at our data from every respective year to see what are we doing, how many deliveries do we have, what complications do we have, what are some of the trends that we see in terms of maternal health or newborn health issues, so that we can do some early intervention things. So we've launched a couple of quality control initiatives from this program already. Some of them include universal Group B streptococcus screening, which is very important for babies. A lot of mothers carry a germ in the vaginal tract, and if we pick those up, we can do preventive antibiotics in labor for those mothers to prevent disease in babies as well. Some of the other things that we're very excited about is our baby milk bank. So we've got a mother milk bank that we run that's also started in 2019. So we screen healthy mothers with HIV and hepatitis B screenings. We do a lifestyle questionnaire with them, and then they donate milk for us. The milk is pasteurized at Mediclinic. So we have our own pasteurized milk that we use for preterm babies. So as you might know, the preterm babies aren't able to drink formula milk safely, so there's some safety concerns with that. So we have to give mother's milk, and that's why we're very happy that we can provide this. It's also free to our mothers in the unit. The whole process is run by my practice in partnership with Mediclinic as well. Hopefully in time we can extend it to also provide to other places, because the program is running quite strong. We've got a very nice supply of mother's milk that's safe and pasteurized. Some of the other quality improvement initiatives that we've had is to challenge the transportation service. So perhaps if I can do a big call out to the very lacking transportation service in terms of sick babies in this country. Create awareness of mothers need support when they deliver a baby. It's unfortunately quite a bit of a stigma around these things. Because nobody wants to say that you have a new bundle of joy and you're not really experiencing such a lovely season. I think it's important to know that stuff can be done about this, but we have to screen. If you don't look for it, you're never going to find it. And these mothers don't always speak up for themselves in these cases as well.
After the break, we return with the story of the day.
Hey, don't worry, about the car, boss. I checked nice.
Thank you, but it's okay, ne? F&B Insurance. Checks nicer.
No.
At F&B Insurance, we provide cover for all your valuables, from your car to your laptop to your phone. F&B Insurance. You value it, we cover it. T's and C's apply.
Higher Education Minister Ita Kanji Murangi on Wednesday inaugurated the hostel block for the University of Namibia's Jose Eduardo dos Santos Engineering Campus at Ongwediva. The student hostel blocks were built by the German government through Ambassador Herbert Berg. Now, the two hostel blocks have a capacity of 256 students in double rooms equipped with wardrobes, single beds and study desk. A furnished matron flat and a recreational space are also part of the setup. This video was contributed by Tuyemo Haidula.
At this point, inaugurating these two hostel blocks at the UNAM Jose Eduardo dos Santos campus here at Ongwediva for our students in this region. And it is important to know that both government, the region, as well as the campus here, we would like to see these facilities put to full use by our students. It is for their service, it is at their disposal to ensure that quality learning does take place on this campus. With that, I'm assisted by the leadership of the region as well as the campus and the university in the name of the Vice Chancellor and the TVCs and our mayor. Here we go. They're funded by the AFW Development Bank through the Federal Republic of Germany to the Namibian government, and were jointly inaugurated by me, Mr. Kanji Murangi, you know my portfolio, and in absentia, His Excellency Herbert Beck, German Ambassador to Namibia on the 12th April 2023. I must also say that in the presence of the leadership of the region and in the presence of the leadership of the university as well as the campus itself. With that, I thank you.
In our economic news slot, we speak about Namibia's inflation rate.
Muscle and joint pain should not be the reason you can't perform at your best. Norflex Gel. It also shouldn't be the reason you miss that important deadline. Norflex Gel. Or miss those precious moments that matter the most. Norflex Gel. Norflex Gel penetrates through the skin, numbing the area and relieving pain and inflammation. Norflex Gel is now available in the pharmacy aisle and in supermarkets. New Norflex Gel Fort is available for stronger anti-inflammatory action.
Beat the pain with Norflex Gel.
Namibia's annual inflation rate averaged 7.1% in the first 3 months of 2023 compared to an average of 4.5% recorded in the first quarter of 2022, an increase of 2.6 percentage points according to Namibia Statistics Agency. March 2023 registered an annual inflation rate of 7.2%, the same rate recorded the previous month. In March 2022, inflation came in at 4.5%. Now, the Bank of Namibia expects inflation to average 5.3% in 2023. Let's have a look at our economic indicators. The Namibian dollar trades at 80 Namibian dollars 40 cents to the US and 20 Namibian dollars 22 cents to the euro. It trades at 22 Namibian dollars 97 cents to the pound and 2 Namibian dollars 68 cents by yuan Chinese yuan. Zinc is trading at 2,785 Namibian dollars, US dollars rather, while Brent crude oil prices are up by 2.9%, trading at 87 US dollars and 8 cents per barrel. After the break, we return with our international news slot. In our international news slot tonight, solar and wind energy surged to make a record 12% of the world's electricity in 2022, a climate think tank calculated in a report on Wednesday. Though coal remained the leading source globally, the report provides the latest gauge on renewable energy growth as countries scramble to meet emission targets to curb climate change and secure alternative power sources after gas exporters Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022. Record growth in wind and solar drove the emission intensity of the world's electricity to its lowest ever in 2022, said climate and energy think tank Ember in its yearly global electricity review. Now into our next story. A Russian court on Thursday sentenced Ilan's Galiviv to life in prison for killing 9 people at a school in the western city of Kazan. Russia's investigative committee, which probes serious crimes, confirmed the verdict. Galiviv fully admitted his guilt and repented, the committee said. Armed with a shotgun and an explosive device, Galaviv, who was then 19, opened fire at a school number 175 in Kazan in May 2021. He killed 9 people, including 7 children. Investigators said that Galaviv had sought to imitate the action of a member of a destructive subculture, which he learned about on the internet, copying their behavior during the attack. After the break, we return with weather. Stay with us. Here are the weather predictions for tomorrow. Now, for tomorrow, warmer temperatures are expected in central and northern Namibia, with a maximum temperature of 35 degrees expected in Katima, Enana, and Rakana, respectively. Moving along, the sunny weather is expected with Rehoboth and Mariental experiencing minimum temperatures of 10 degrees and 31 degrees maximum temperature. Mamelodi Sundowns are believed to be at an advanced stage in a potential deal with another Namibian international footballer. More on this after the break. Here are the local sports. Mamelodi Sundowns were believed to be at an advanced stages in a potential deal with Namibian international Prince Chiweza last week. Reports went as far as claiming that Chiweza and his family had even had the opportunity to meet some senior Sundown officials at the Clocop training base. Now, a source also claimed that Sundown had directly met with representatives of Chiweza and were said to be about 90% ready with the offer for the player. Moving on to our next story, Brave Gladiators forward Anushka Kodom has announced that she will be taking a step back from doing national duties, citing unresolved issues with team management, including uncertainties relating to payment. Now, Athletic Namibia Senior National Track and Field Championships will be held at the Independence Stadium in Windhoek this weekend, starting Friday and continuing on Saturday. Despite the expected absence of the country's two young Olympic superstars, Christine Boma and Beatrice Maslingi, spectators can look forward to a variety of mouth-watering matchups, experiencing the next unexpected prospect announcing their readiness to step up to the international levels. After the break, we return with highlights. Here are the highlights from tonight's broadcast. At the backdrop of learners taught under trees in dilapidated classroom with barely access to textbook, the Popular Democratic Movement has called on for an investigatory audit into the affairs of how the Minister of Education is spending its budget. A South African rapist and murderer who escaped prison was returned to the country in the early hours of this morning following his arrest last week in Tanzania, and is being kept in a high-security prison. Mamelodi Sundowns were believed to be at an advanced stage in a potential deal with Namibian international Prince Chiweza last week. And with that, we've come to the end of tonight's broadcast. Please do make sure you join Sunset News on Facebook, on all NMH platforms on weekdays, as well as on our website, which is called Oneuptwo. Sunset News screens on DSTV channel 285, as well as GoTV channel 94 every weekday from 7:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. This has been Sunset News. My name is Aina Raiza Koyo. Please don't end your day without us. Good night.